Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have great pleasure to invite for my lecture webinar. I'm Gawel Solosky from Bengal University. I today will talk about anaerobic digestion and enhancing by dark fermentation. So the reason and how to measure this upgradation. For the dark fermentation is a method, special kind of anaerobic digestion, which stops on hydrogen production, not continue to methane production. Because this is stressing and hydrogen produce and organic acids. This hydrogen can be used because not very high, or high can be up to 33%. Is little, but can be used enough to be used in upgrading of methane, because methane production reason is that we have produced for organic matter, simple, for waste type. For example, sugar, for example, cellulose is degraded. By sugar, by organic acid is coming to methane. But trouble of methane, which is in this way, is up to 60%, 60% in percent of concentration. Such concentration, which much big involvement of hydrogen sulfide and carbon in a few cases, and the only concentration up to 60% cannot be used as replacement for natural gas and for heating proposals. For heating proposals, gas needs to be more clean in 90%. For making that, we need to upgrade and remove in the phase of methane production, hydrogen sulfide. So usually by little oxygenation, which has production of hydrogen. And therefore we remove little bit of for hydrogen and methane. And this case, we have added some hydrogen from dark fermentation can be used to make the natural gas up to 90%. How it's measured? Because the measuring of methane production is speed of sound. You use the sound or measure by flow meters using with some nozzle that make noise, and by this noise showing the proper concentration and can be used there for synthesis of gas for own heat transfer. Because if enough noise, it will have. The speed of measurements is one of the in heat thermal most important. If the sound, if heat is coming in the sound speed, velocity, that can be used in heat production because heat is transferred enough high. I'm working in the Professor Segovia from Valladolid University. And he proposed new methods of using the gas potential, and by sound gas, measuring sound, seeing how upgraded biogas is. The speed was carried by spherical resonator in spherical resonator, which is a block in circle when comes this gas, and by gas circulating by this metal copper block will give some noise. If it's proper, the resonator gives proper result. This means that gas can be used as heat conduction. This can be used in room temperature, so we can not need to this gas to check if the gas is suitable or heat more. Just put into this heater with platinum resistant thermometer which measure, and this resonator gives some sound. The calculation of speed according to the gravity is relationship with frequency of resonance for the mode, and this is the value which is directly proportional to the acoustic resonance mode, and this is because the delta, if the delta between heat losses is enough, so not so half widths of calculated resonance are sounds enough, then can be used in heat transfer. If not, this cannot be used. So this is as the sound can be due to thermodynamics related to be the difference of mass density and the mass of pressure under the reasoning that entropy is constant. We, for these needs, we use the real gas equation usually to show our real time, because perfect gas is fine for many metals. But in this case, in case of gas transfer for metal, gives to big errors. Therefore, we use van der Waals corrections, and this allows to measure. Therefore, this sound measure this difference of weight and difference of gas density due to occurring of mass much higher, because density of gas clean is much natural matter is much higher, much lower than the difference of pressure. Difference of pressure in such resonator is the same. So if the volume, the velocity is speed of sound is the density is lowering, the velocity is higher. So if is slow enough, this is requiring to be good for heat transfer, because this allows us to use as heating. It's important such measurements to show if the gas is required for our needs, because one of the reasons that we use biogas and is to replace the natural gas and coal carrier from heating from conventional method, from fossil fuels, which are very good speed of sound. And that's why is obstacle of using this. because we need to produce such gas concentration that can be used both to synthesize and to our today life as electricity, and in this case in heating and as using as gas in our ovens. Therefore, conclusion is that scrubbing unit was gas and then use method, which is a bit of sand, gives us strong allows to produce, to measure that it is enough, velocity is high enough, then method the concentration is enough. So this shows, this spheric resonator method shows us the easy method for example, landfill to check if we have produced in good concentration gas. So we push this resonator, voice is enough, therefore we can give this from landfill to the conventional system of heating, therefore it can be used. So this speed of sound is a value that can allows us to replace, because in our methods in development of natural bio decomposition, important is to make such types of measuring that will allow us easily to check and not much knowledge to be used this system by not very high qualified people, but in some less easier and more simple to be useful for common people. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आज रात शुरू करें।